everyone. This is Fran Woodward, and I'm here with Ashlee Latimer.
Thank you so much.
Did you
So
want to introduce yourself, Ashlee?
sure. My name is Ashlee Latimer. I married my high school sweetheart we've been married for 20 years. I didn't know I was an entrepreneur. I didn't know I was marrying an entrepreneur at the time, because we were 20. And I should have known. There were some clues of how I should have known that he was an entrepreneur. But so my name is Ashlee Latimer. I've been an entrepreneur wife for 15 years, a supportive entrepreneur wife for 10, and an on-fire entrepreneur wife for the last 5. I also have 5 kids. Right now, we are currently living in the great state of Texas, but I don't have a Texas accent because I'm originally from Michigan. And we're just in Texas for business because this is what the entrepreneurial journey has. I speak broken Spanish because I used to live in Costa Rica. Not good Spanish at all. And let me think. And a fun fact about me is that I love cotton candy more than any adult woman should.
Oh,
I do. I don't know why. I'm just obsessed with it. So,
that's cool. So you like the grapes cotton candy?
oh yeah, I like any cotton candy. Yeah. Oh, the cotton candy grapes. Oh, yes, those things are magical. Whoever hybrided those things, way to go.
That is so cool. All right. So we heard that you married your sweetheart husband now. So tell me how what were your goals like 20 years? You say that you were 20 years and you married this guy, and so what were your goals together before you married? And yeah,
Ah, man, I think I might cry. Is that okay? Or is crying
yeah,
allowed?
totally allowed.
Like when you're saying this, I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes sense to have goals as a married couple. I think not screwing it up was
Yeah.
the goal. I would have told you that I wanted to be happy and romance and all of the things. And I had this like fairy tale idea of what love was. And the fun story is that on my wedding day, my husband found me crying in my wedding dress in my closet saying, "It's over." And I was talking about the wedding, not the marriage. And my husband's like, "We didn't do it yet." Because the marriage is what I should have been preparing for. So when you're asking what my goals were to get married, to have kids, and to be happy. Now, I didn't realize that happiness wasn't hinged to those things. And if I were to go back and talk to myself,
Mhm.
well, first off, I'd say, hold on, it's going to get a little tough, but it's going to be worth it because I love my husband more now than I did 20 years ago because we have went through really hard things. Um, and we have loved each other in the hard moments, and he's loved me more and I love him more, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So my goals were 0 except for married, kids, happy.
Yes. So that's a hard goal, to be like happiness in the entrepreneurial journey. What do you do when you realize like you were getting into it, things were not working the way that you were expecting? So how
Mm.
did you react, and what was your, I guess, your coping mechanism at the time, and how did you go over that?
Oh, girl. Okay. So my coping mechanism was crying on my bathroom floor, which is not a good coping mechanism, everybody. Um, so our entrepreneurial journey, like I said before, I should have picked up on the clues that he was an entrepreneur. But he didn't actually start the big journey until my son was 6 weeks old. He was 6 weeks old and he quit his steady safety 9 to 5 job to try this crazy thing called entrepreneurship. And I had grown up in a very blue collar home. And so I didn't know anything about entrepreneurship. So it was like I thought my husband was lighting our life on fire because things had started to kind of work. Like he had a good, stable, he had benefits, which we went from benefits to no benefits real quickly when we had a baby. Like
Yeah.
these things it was starting to break my brain. Entrepreneurship broke my brain. And now, as I'm working with lots of entrepreneur wives, I find out that this is kind of a common theme that crying was their first coping mechanism because they felt alone.
Yeah.
And when I started to find out that I'm not alone and that this journey is actually a beautiful way to live life. It's a beautiful life of freedom. And you do have to wager safety. You have to kind of turn in old habits and mind trash in your head. But if you can get through that, it's a game changer and you get to live life like nobody else.
Hmm. Yeah. That's so true. So true. Everything. I just want to go through everything. But so from what you share, what made you switch your mind that was a beautiful journey? How did you came to that realization?
Um, whew. Well, I first started to get on board. Like I just started to like get excited because we'd have wins. And when you have wins, it's very helpful. There's been times there wasn't wins. But I don't know if this was a specific moment. Man, you're really getting my tear ducts going, just so you know. Um,
Sorry.
I no. I think it's actually good to talk about because I don't think we talk about this enough. Um, I remember a time when I was a Nagatha Naggy Pants. That's what I call her. Someone who was just nagging and like, maybe you should get a real job, which, ladies, that is the worst weapon you can use to an entrepreneur. It's like literally throwing a dagger to his heart, saying that you don't believe him and trust him. And I remember I would say comments. I was saying comments to him that were very nagging, not on purpose. It was for my own coping mechanisms and my own. But I remember seeing his hand in his head, and he was kind of broken. And it wasn't business that was breaking him. It was me not being his teammate that was breaking him. And I remember that moment being like, you know what? He's going to become successful in business no matter if I am the push or the pull. So why don't I start becoming the push? And why don't I try to change my mindset? Like if I clap him and cheer him on to glory, I get to be a part of the winning. I get more control. When I level up as a wife, safety and security become a bigger thing. Like I can help write this destiny. I can help like clap and cheer him on to glory. And I I guess my whole point is that our words can either break people or build people. And so when I started to go on the journey of building up my husband, it started to build who I was. It started to build up my family. It started to, when you start having these mind shift changes, like I always think about if I were to go back and tell my younger self, like, hey, this is what you're going to do. I don't know if my small minded Ashlee version would even be able to comprehend what I'm telling her. I think it kind of has to happen in these stages of level up. Because if I could dump everything I know into the 20-year-old version of Ashlee Latimer, I would probably kill her with all of the overwhelm. Like
Yeah.
the moments of me going through these little tiny levels has strengthened who I am. Now I can handle a lot more than I used to be able to.
Hmm.
For example, I'm going to give you an example. I used to be the person who couldn't call the cable company because they overcharged us, or it was a phone company. And it took me all day and I was like crying on the floor. And now I negotiate business deals. Like I help be my husband's wingman in a way that I never thought I would. And I really can be a boss babe. Now I'm not always. Sometimes sometimes I'm an entrepreneur and sometimes an entrepreneur wife, but I'm a lot tougher and stronger and have more level up now. Sorry, that was a long-winded answer.
No, no, that was so fantastically said. Just because I think it was so transparent, so I could identify in so many things, so many things. They were when we just were starting, I was like super excited, but I had no idea where I was getting into it. Even though it
Yeah.
was at the beginning of it, I didn't even understand when we were dating why he was doing, because he was talking about funnels and I had no idea what was that. So I totally understand your journey because I have gone through everything you said.
Yeah.
Everything. So yes, that is so helpful. So helpful. Thank you for sharing
That's
that.
good. My husband always calls entrepreneurship for a long time. Excuse me. He's spoken on like hundreds of stages, and he'll say, entrepreneurship is like jumping off a cliff and building the plane on the way down. And the whole crowd would always cheer. And for some reason, I was like, jump off a cliff and build a plane on the way down. That sounds horrible. Everybody would rally and all the entrepreneurs. And I was like, I know why. I know why there's like a piece of me that's like, oh, that's a little stressful, is because an entrepreneur wife is bungee cord to her husband that's jumping off the cliff,
Yeah.
building the plane on the way down. And sometimes we're blindfolded. And so, one thing that I also teach now to entrepreneurs who could love their entrepreneur wives better is to cast clear vision, because this journey, like you're talking about, is a journey. And a lot of times the wives cannot see it. And that's where a lot of the disconnect happens, is because it's not fully communicated on the journey that we're going. And so everything is scary when you don't know where you're going.
Yeah. Yes. Totally. Yes. I yes, I can that was just pure gold, honestly. Just what you dropped right there. I so when you realize all of this, let's go again a little bit past your experience. So when you felt that shifting of mindset, where how did you start helping that to nurture that mindset? What was your most helpful?
Well, so I first started becoming a part, like just starting to learn what my husband was learning. And to be honest, here's a real honest truth is I like to say the way I really got on board, the real level up. Like I had started to get on board like 10 years ago, like, oh yay, good job, babe. Like that's when I was really starting to push him. But the real transition happened about 5 years ago. And I would say it's because I had a drug problem. My husband drug me to funnel hacking live. Like that's really the truth of it. And what had happened is my husband had built and sold a few companies, and we were currently had a software company. And our software company was broken. Like our software cost like $1 million to build, and it was 5 years in and we hadn't gotten a paycheck from it. Now we had other businesses, but this business was literally ruining my husband. Like I think he had PTSD from it. Like he was so stressed out and like health issues and stuff. And I remember coming home and we're in this kind of pickle, and he sent Russell Brunson a whole bunch of money. A man on the internet. Like I didn't know who Russell was at this time. And I drive home from groceries and he said, hey babe, I just sent a whole bunch of money that we don't have to a man on the internet. And I was like, I might kill you. Like, but instantly there was a shift in my husband. And in the next, like he sent at the time, the inner circle was $25,000. And 60 days after that, my husband made $250,000 by one thing Russell had said. And so I kind of saw like, whoa, you know how you like lean in when something really awesome happens, you lean in and you're like, you have my attention. And at that moment, my husband and Russell had my attention. And I saw a difference in my husband. So when an entrepreneur gets a win, they show up differently. When they have a mindset change in their mind, they show up differently. And so my husband started to show up differently. But the real transformation of me, so this is when I'm leaning in and I'm paying attention, right? But the real difference is when my husband said he had taken his business partner to all the inner circle meetings and the first funnel hacking live he went to. But then the next time he said, so babe, I want you to start going. And I was like, crap. All these people are successful. I'm just a wife. I don't belong there. I don't know what you're doing. And as you can tell, this is the moment of the level up. So I had like 3 months to actually try to be able to hang in this circle. So I read every single book. I watched every webinar. I tried to learn every marketing secret ever not because I was going to be like presenting, it's because I didn't want to look like a flying ding dong idiot. And so I did it as a protection. But in the moment, it started to affect me. That's when I went to Funnel Hacking Live. And something in my body started to shift. And it was like, holy cow, when Ryan Holiday is talking about this, or Jenna Kutcher is talking about this, or I just started grabbing all of these resources. Ed Milet, Tony Robbins, like Myron Golden, like all these people just started to filter in. And I was like, holy cow, I thought I was doing this to be a better cheerleader for my husband, but now it's starting to cheer me on. Sorry, long-winded answer again. I've got lots of stories.
Oh, those are great stories. That's the thing. So never stop, because they are amazing stories. That is, yeah, that is wonderful. I feel like everyone, I I am always close to the people that are the wife of the entrepreneurs, and I see that they are wife, but at the same time they are on the nurturing part where they write, they feel, they suck in the information, and even though they don't have their own businesses, it's still there is shift that they had to create to feel part of it, and
Yeah.
be one more. I know you created your own business, and I know you are helping so many kids and families, and now it's like you're helping so many, like your whole surrounding and more. And that's the coolest thing, that you took action on something that for you was so painful, and that's the cool part, like pain or your mess become your message,
Yeah.
and that's how you transform it. So thank you for sharing all the struggles. I know it's hard
Oh,
to hear that.
no problem. And you know what? There wouldn't be, if there weren't wins, I don't know if I would have survived. Um, and I can go a long season without a win now. Because I know logically, like the things I know now, in the level up process, no one can ever take away from me, ever. And so the level up is huge. And I said a word that I said I felt like I was just a wife.
Yeah.
I actually think that an entrepreneur wife is literally the entrepreneur's secret weapon. No matter if she is in the business or knows nothing about business, the way that she supports and loves her husband can make him millions of dollars. The way she claps and cheers at homes and honors her husband and loves him and is his wingman, his ride or die. Like that is a big piece of business. When I started to get on board, we made way more money because he wasn't coming home to someone who was pulling him down. I was pushing him forward. And so these women who, sometimes it feels like I've had this thought too. Sometimes entrepreneur wives are looked down upon.
Mhm.
And they're pushed backstage, and people forget that they are in the room with people who, like I always think of Colette Brunson, right? Colette Brunson, she is magical human. Okay. I love her. She is like the sweetest, most kindest. Oh, I love her. But, like, people always wanna get, like, close to Russell and they, like, will push her out of the way. It's like, "Are you kidding me?"
Always get so mad at that because I see it so much.
Oh, it makes me wanna fight people, and I'm not even a fighter, but, um, but she sat at the feet of Tony Robbins. Can you imagine the conversations Colette Brenson has heard because she gets to be in the room? Like, she's a magical unicorn. I'm just telling you. And so calling it just a wife is like, or like people will say trophy wife or starter wife. Ugh. They just all It's all so gross. And so that's really why I created my program called the Unicorn Squad, because I think entrepreneur wives are unicorns. So
Yeah, that is totally awesome. I love the name actually. Yeah, you nailed it on the name. So, so wrapping up this interview, I really have loved hearing everything you have said, and also the how you mentioned it's not just a wife. I know a lot of people are very particular about that, and I have seen the other side that is totally the opposite of what people think. They are really the pillar of the business, and some people really don't think about that, and that's why I'm creating this.
I
Yes.
love it. I am gonna clap and cheer you on to glory, girl. I think more people, sometimes people think that empowering an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur spouse, like my husband, that for some reason that makes me weaker. But I actually think I'm empowered by it and I empower my husband. And so more women being empowered to clap and cheer for their spouse is like, what? Stop. Like, it's going to literally change the world what you're doing. So thank you. So
Oh, thank you. So I want to get the last juice from you, the last little bit. So tell me, what would be one tip that you will give a new entrepreneur wife or a new couple that are just starting this journey? What would you say that is the number one thing that they need to do or she needs to do to help out the husband or help herself during the journey or to feel the joy throughout the process?
okay. Ooh, one
One.
dang. Well, you know what? I'm actually going to start with the entrepreneur. I'm going to give you one for the entrepreneur wife, and I'm going to give you one for the entrepreneur. Okay. But I'm going to start with the entrepreneur, especially entrepreneurs. You have to continue to market. You have to market to your wife and your family like you market your business. Like, if you want to be an epic entrepreneur, cast very clear vision and keep on marketing to your family and your wife, and you'll never go wrong with that. Um, to the entrepreneur wife, you are not alone in this journey. It will be hard and it will be worth it. But the one thing that I could say is be an expert at clapping and cheering for yourself, for your entrepreneur, for your family, for your friends, for your community. The way that you clap and cheer for people has a lot to do with who you are. So if you become an expert in clapping and cheering for yourself, your family, your spouse, you will never lose. And and I would say you also, some in our culture, we always talk about how, like, when we clap and cheer for people who are winning, it means that we lose. But when you clap and cheer for the people who are winning, you get to be a part of the winning.
Mhm.
So clap and cheer for your spouse.
That is so, so great. Thank you so much, Ashley, for all the gold that you dropped right here and the mind
Ah, no,
all that.
no problem. I always love meeting other entrepreneur wives. It's like you're my person. You're
Yeah,
my person.
yeah,
And so it's like we speak the same language. So
yes, yes,
I, even if it's your second language, we speak the same language. It's a subliminal language. So just so you know, like, entrepreneur wives go through stuff
yeah.
that you can't even explain. you can't tell everybody what, all the things, especially people who don't live entrepreneur wives. We call those people normies because they don't understand. It would break their brain and they would give really bad advice. So it's good to be in a community like this because then um it's like you feel heard, but you also can give. It's like a circular give fest.
Yes,
So,
yes, that is, yeah, that is totally it.
yeah. So,
So thank you so much for being here. How people can reach out to you or connect with you because you gave such amazing ideas and love and so much.
oh goodness, you know what? This is a great question. My husband and I are starting a podcast, and people have been interviewing us and saying, "Oh, where can I catch your stuff?" I can't actually release all the stuff that we're doing yet because it's still like getting there. But if you go to honorandfire.com, you can find our kid war plan, and then there's a unicorn squad waiting list. Actually, I did buy unicornsquad.com. It's my first domain name, and it cost more than my first car.
Oh,
So, yeah, it was a big purchase of my first domain name.
congratulations, though. That is
Thank
so good.
Oh, thank you so much. I threw a party for myself. I didn't know how great. No wonder my husband has so many domain names. It's because it feels so awesome. It's like buying a new pair of shoes. Except for these were the most expensive pair of shoes I ever bought. But anyways, you can also follow me on Instagram at Honor and Fire. That's our handle. And then Ashlee Latimer on Facebook. I still use Facebook. I know not everybody does, but I do. And I use Instagram. My stories are redonkulous, so just I apologize ahead of time to anybody who follows me. But yeah, honorandfire.com, you can try to find all the stuff, but we have more stuff coming. It's just coming soon. Dun dun dun.
That's awesome. I can't wait to hear about that.